tell you a story.
I got loyalty inside my DNA.
In the beginning, there was nothing.
I got loyalty inside my DNA. I got peace, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA.
Nothing but the silence of an infinite darkness.
I was born like this, it's more like this. Immaculate conception, I transform like this, perform like this. Without you, a new weapon. I know how to play. I meditate, then off your head. This that bullet against the bed. This that I got.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the United Star. We're here to preview the all-important Manchester derby. We've got Tanmay once again on the channel with Samir from Manchester City, MCFC Mumbai, and they are here to talk about City's chances of winning the league. Vishesh, before I come to you, I'm going to go to Tanmay. Tanmay, the last time we did this, the situation was a little different. This time we're doing it. Is it almost, do you all consider the league done and dusted?
Yeah, definitely. You know, even if we lose against United, you know, the gap will be 11 points. So then we are expected to lose the title. We are expected to lose 4 games, and United had to win every game. You know, they have still yet to play Liverpool, Spurs. You know, they are playing big teams. So I think the title is, I guess, already over. But you know, anything can happen. It's football. Anything can go wrong. But still, I'm pretty comfortable about the Premier League. And if we win against United, then it's definitely done. It's 17 points. It's too big a gap. So definitely done if we win on the Sunday.
Right. Fair enough. I think Vishesh and me have already spoken about this on the channel before. That I think we were, in fact, before even when United were leading, we were quite cognizant of the fact that City had those games in hand, and if City took the lead, it was going to be hard to stop that juggernaut of City. But Vishesh, coming to from a United perspective, how important is this game? Obviously, it's a no-brainer to say it's a derby and we want to win it. It's obviously mindless to say that. But in terms of a Premier League game, in terms of considering this is another Big Six opposition, the fact that we haven't been particularly good, how important is this game from a mentality perspective for this United team and Oli?
No, it comes down to a lot of factors. But, before we look at United, I want to point one thing out. When we did this last time, I remember the discussion was United and Liverpool for the title, while City were, somewhere around the 8th place, just hanging, coming up slowly. And I had mentioned it then, and I think Tanmay mentioned it as well, that no one's talking about them, but they'll come out of nowhere and just, seize the league by the throat and go with it. And that's what's happened. They've gone on a 21-game unbeaten run, which is fabulous. But talking about United, it's rather pathetic and sad right now. To be honest, I mean, we may be second, and that may be a great thing, but 7 games. I think we've drawn 5, lost 2, or no, we've just won 2 out of them. I think the players are tired, Prashant, to be honest. I think Ole has made the mistake of playing the same players game in, game out, even in the Europa League, even in the Carabao Cup, even in the FA Cup. There's no resting players. And that's coming back to haunt us. We talk about the Pep Role, where, he affects us in fantasy Premier League, but it helps us. It helps the team. It helps City, perform well in multiple different competitions. And now we've seen we did decently well in the Carabao. We did decently well in the FA. We're doing well in the Europa League, and now the players are just burnt out. So if you look at it from a holistic approach, it is a must-win game for us because the likes of Leicester, Chelsea, even Aston Villa for that are knocking on the door to dethrone us from the second position. But I don't see it's a top 6 game. United are known for the 0-0 draws, and I think Samir or Tanmay said that if this was a 0-0 competition, we would have won the league by now. So yeah, I'm expecting a drab kind of performance.
Yeah, fair enough. I think West Ham as well are doing particularly well. But why I don't think this is, I mean, obviously this is a must-win game because we want to beat City. But while I don't think if we lose this, it's not the end of the world for us finishing second, because the teams below us are even more inconsistent than we've been. as evidenced by the fact that we are in second place. But you brought up a very interesting point that City have a lot of squad depth to rotate. Now, obviously, this comes with the fact that if your owner literally owns a country, you have access to funds that it's a bottomless pit of money. So obviously, you have access to that. But I
But
was
you
just
know,
viewing a
Prasham,
stat, Vishesh.
I've been actually thinking about that. We, as a United fan base, we need to stop talking about money, because we have spent equal amounts of money. We've just not spent it the right way. I think City's recruitment over the last decade has been way better.
I'll just stop you there because I'll just point out to the fact that you can buy Claudio Bravo in one season and then buy Edison in the other. You can buy someone like John Stones, who's a colossal disaster. You wait for 2.5 seasons, 3 seasons for him to become good. In the meanwhile, you buy the likes of Emric Laporte, you buy the likes of Ruben Diaz. It is pretty much a bottomless pit. While I agree with you, United have spent money, but it is nowhere to the access that City have. And I think it's a little stupid to argue at this point that uh, that they have some sort of they have an advantage in the market. City and PSG are clearly by far ahead everyone else. Chelsea are as well there. Their recruitment is obviously good. There's no question about that. But if you can keep recycling players one year out and the other, I think it's obviously a bigger advantage than any other team will have. Remember, Claudio Bravo was one of the best keepers in the world, and no one talks about how he was a colossal failure.
Sham,
But
I
moving
think
on,
that's a different debate, because then that goes down to the way media represents the clubs. If media wanted, they could have made a big deal out of the Claudio Bravo situation and Edison coming into picture. That's why I think United's a bigger club, because that's what generates the clicks, and that's why they pick on United players. So when it comes to spending, I think that topic needs to be dropped eventually. But yeah, let's carry on.
yeah. So my point was coming to that is that Laporte and Stones have played 6 out of the last 12 games, whereas Ruben Diaz has become the mainstay in defense for City. So the fact that they're able to rotate the likes of Walker, Cancelo, and Zinchenko as well, it definitely is an advantage. So Samir, coming to you, what kind of composition are you looking going into this Manchester United game? What kind of defense do you think is going to be out there, and how do you think City are going to approach this?
I mean, the defense probably would be the same. I don't see any difference in the other games and United game. My fear is basically coming to that, because we don't have a left back. We don't have an traditional left back that you guys have Luke Shaw or Alex Telles. We don't have a traditional left back. I mean, Benjamin Mendy has not played from last 3 months, I guess. It correct me if I'm wrong, Tamil. He played last in December, if I'm not wrong. Right.
Yeah.
Zinchenko is kind of the weakling out of all. Like, you don't rate Zinchenko highly than other players. So I do see like a Dan James or a Rashford or a Cavani hammering him out. Right. So that is my biggest worry. Otherwise, if you're saying about Diaz and Stones, Stones has been one of the most surprising element for me. Right. I mean, I have not thought about it, because I remember in January, Stones was linked to Arsenal by rumor mills and everything. And you see, then 3 months coming later, he's been on the defensive force for almost every match. You don't see Laporte starting, and I feel really bad for Laporte, to be very honest, for him seeing on the sidelines, and like that is something that, but again, if I talk about defense, I cannot forget Joao Cancelo. Man, he has been the player of the second half for me. Joao Cancelo has been holding forth from the left, from the right side, from the left side, and even he has been shifting to CDM near Rodri as well. So you see him being such a useful element, such a useful addition to the team, that he can play multiple positions at one go. And that is something that has been one of the most important factors of this team having 21 wins in a row, that you have a player who could operate on multiple positions at one go. That gives you an opportunity to, kind of rotate at one go, and also give variety in attack as well as in defense. Like, there was a match, I guess it was a West Ham match, where Bernardo Silva dropped deep into defense to block Antonio's shot. So you see the players, on even the attacking players, knowing the defensive responsibilities of coming back and doing their thing. And that is what has been one of the most important factors of this team having such an amazing performance. That you
Right.
have players who know their responsibilities, that even attackers know that they have a defensive defend as well. You can't rely. Like when talking about Ruben Diaz, I'll share an incident. So when Kevin De Bruyne, when he came back into the team, he's have a rusty. He's had a rusty season right now. He's not the way he has been playing before. And Ruben Diaz scored a header in the West Ham match. He immediately ran to Kevin De Bruyne and kind of appreciating that pass, that assist. So that shows that that guy was a captain material, which this club has been missing for years. Post Vincent Company, we needed a captain. Post Vincent Company, we needed someone, a voice, and Ruben Diaz is that voice. That is one of the reasons where you see that why these clubs are buying Ruben Diaz. We have been chasing Koulibaly for like years, but then you got Ruben Diaz, and you see why Ruben Diaz was being bought, not just as a defender. And I don't know, it could be I could exaggerate about this, but if Virgil van Dijk would have put the same performance which Ruben Diaz has been doing this season, he would have been nominated in Ballon d'Or again for this year. Like that you can the way it works. So Ruben Diaz has been a formidable guy in the who's holding the fort. And looking at the way John Stones is performing, the John Stones that we see right now is the John Stones that we actually wanted to buy. This is a John Stones
Right,
that this club has paid 50 million pounds
right.
for.
So I mean,
This is the
that's I think you've laid out the analysis of the defense quite perfectly, and I think I have to agree with you that Ruben Diaz has been that one linchpin along with Cancelo that's sort of transformed the team. When City have struggled to score goals, these guys have ensured that they don't concede, so you can even nick those 1-0, 2-1, 2-0 victories. But one player that I personally think has been at the heart of sort of City's resurgence or this 21 unbeaten streak is Ilkay Gundogan. So Tanmay, how
absolutely.
impressed you been with Gundogan, and especially in the absence of De Bruyne, how do you think he was able to sort of rally the team in terms of both an attacking and defensive perspective? Because he's doing a lot of legwork which is going unnoticed as well.
True, true. To be honest, I don't think Ilkay Gundogan has been that great this season. He is doing similar work that he used to do previously also, but this season he's been getting too many goals. And because we all play fantasy Premier League, so that that narrative comes in your team that he's a every fantasy manager watches him week in week out. But to be honest, he has added more goals to his games, but his game has been similar like what he used to do. He's been playing really well this season, and in the absence of Kevin De Bruyne, he's got more license to go up front. So he has the best thing about Ricardo is he has that knack of finding that perfect moment to score a goal. He waits and he shoots shot perfectly and scores a goal. So that has been the best part about him. And as Samir said about this run about Man City, the one important thing about this run is that the goals have been coming from everywhere. If we are not playing with a striker, but we have from midfield like Foden, Mahrez, Bernardo, Gundogan, they are scoring so many goals. So it has helped us a lot. When there is a plethora of goals among the all players, it really helps. You can look at the West Ham game. We did not keep a clean sheet, but the two goals they scored were John Stones and Ruben Diaz. That what matters. And when there is a goals coming out from all the side, it really helps for team to go in on such an amazing run.
And also, I
Absolutely.
would like to add to this that the difference between United and City that that's clearly evident is the lack of squad depth. With City at the attack, we have someone like Ferran Torres sitting on the bench who's waiting to get unleashed. I don't see that in United because obviously you have an injury scare and all that's fine, but even if you take all your squad players, you don't have a particular squad depth at the attack. You might have a Rashford or or a Dan James or a Greenwood. So you don't have someone who could be a squad. You could rely on him if any of both of them get injured. So with City, they have managed to get that perfectly. You have a Sterling and a Mahrez. If any one of them is injured, you have Torres and Bernardo. So that is something that the two at any position, it is something that every team should, I think, really consider as a reality. It is not a joke
But
that position is something that could work wonders for a team.
absolutely, but Samir, that was my original point coming into this, that not every team has the resources to be able to have Bernardo, Ferran Torres,
Yeah,
Riyad Mahrez, Phil Foden, Kevin De Bruyne, Ilkay Gundogan, Gabriel Jesus, Sergio Aguero in attack. It doesn't come without a lot of money. It doesn't come
yeah.
without that. But Vishesh, what I want to ask you is this exact thing. It's similar to what I asked Tanmay in terms of creativity. when they lost De Bruyne, Gundogan stepped up. When we've lost Paul Pogba, where he was playing so well, we haven't ever had that opportunity or that player who can fill into his role and support Bruno, because we were seeing that when Bruno was getting double marked in games, Pogba was really picking up the slack and being able to be that creative outlet. So how do we approach this game? Where does the creativity come from us from now? Because if I watch anything like what we saw against Palace, I'm going to fall asleep in the first half.
Prashant, let me tell you one thing. The more, I'm hearing Tanmay and Samir talk, United and City have had similar seasons to a certain extent when it comes to I heard Samir and Tanmay say goals are not coming from the strikers. We aren't getting goals from our strikers either. We're getting it from Scott McTominay. We've got Aaron
Bruno
Van Bissaka
Fernandes.
scored to Bruno scoring. Bruno's off right now. It's coming from all around the ground. The only difference is, you know, we could possibly sit out here and say VAR cost us 11 points, or VAR did that, VAR did this. What City has done is, even if VAR wasn't on their side, they found a way to win, and that is the only reason that we're sitting here and saying City have more or less won the league while we're sitting in second. But talking about squad depth, Prashant, we've always discussed this. The board didn't support Ole the way Ole wanted the board to. We got players, no doubt, but the board did not support Ole the way he wanted. And it's come back to bite us towards the end of the season. We lose Paul Pogba, and there's no creativity because Bruno is A, tired, B, double marked, C, people know he's the only outlet. Um, you look at Rashford, he's not, again, as you say, because you've been really critical about him compared to me, that, he may have the numbers, but he's not putting in those performances that we think is of his caliber. You look at Martial, trash of a season. So the players haven't stood up. And to be honest, I don't think Fred's got a career at United for that long anymore either. So I don't know how we're gonna go about the creativity. We need the likes of Bruno, uh, Rashford, Cavani to stand up in this game. Otherwise, I either see us just sitting back, holding all the pressure we can, having this one pivot of Dan James on the line, a ball by Dean Henderson to Dan James, and hope that there's a goal. But other than that, if Bruno and Rashford do not step up, you can go off to sleep before the game even starts, Prasha.
Right. Yeah, fair enough. But Vishesh, there are a couple of things I just want to add to what you were saying. I think the fact that we're second, considering the resources we had, I don't think people were expecting that. People were expecting Chelsea to do really well. People were expecting Liverpool to obviously not drop off, apart from me, who I said they won't finish in the top four, which was a little tongue in cheek, but it's coming out to be true. People didn't expect people expected City, Liverpool, Chelsea sort of to be there, and then Spurs and United sort of going for that fourth spot, and us, making it by the sort of bare margins. I think we've done way better than that. We've been good. And I think the last 7 games have not been particularly good. But before that, I think we played attacking football. We were good to watch. And the last 7 games have suddenly dropped off. And I think that's down to fatigue. You can put it down to that, or you can put it down to whatever you want. But it is going to happen if you don't have the squad that you really need. I mean, you need, like, Phil Foden and Mason Greenwood are of a similar age, and I feel are of a similar ability as well. But when Phil Foden has the likes of he's played with the likes of David Silva, he's played with the likes of De Bruyne, he has the likes of Bernardo to support him. Whereas when Mason comes onto the pitch, he doesn't have that same kind of support that a Man City team can provide him. Having said that, Vishesh, what do you think is going to be a lineup before I go to Tanmay and Samir about what they think of United's lineup, considering what you think our 11 is going to be for tomorrow?
I think 11 is pretty straightforward. I think Dean Henderson will have a big game to play tomorrow because obviously David De Gea has just got a newborn baby. So congratulations.
Yeah, and we should take a second to congratulate him on that.
I think City could be happy that City actually should be sad because I think Dean Henderson has a point to prove, and with the way that he commands the box, I think City would be.
To be honest,
sad
he was
about
good
to come
against
to that.
us
Yeah.
in Carabao Cup. He played really well
Yep,
against us in Carabao Cup.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Dean Henderson in goal. I'd probably go with Luke Shaw, Adam Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire, and Lindelof, because I think again we'll have to be cutting the balls by Kevin De Bruyne, and he's better at cutting those through balls than Eric Bailly. I go for Matic and McTominay because personally I think Fred's done. You know that clip that's circulating, that how the manager could laugh when the player took that shot. I don't think Ole was laughing in the sense, oh, good shot, keep going at it. I think Ole was laughing in terms of frustration that he's done it again and he's just missing opportunities one after another. So probably see Matic and McTominay, with McTominay playing more of an aggressive role rather than a sitting back role, with Bruno, Rashford, Cavani, and Greenwood.
Yeah, fair enough. I think I agree with that. I only think that Fred will start instead of Matic because Matic just doesn't have the legs to play in this game. Samir, looking at if this is indeed how United line up, more or less they will line up this way. It's going to be whether James plays or Greenwood plays. It's just going to be that and Matic and Fred. Other than that, it's probably a settled 11. Which player from United do you think City would be most worried about? And obviously, you're going to say Bruno Fernandes. So how do you think they're going to double? Do you think the City will again double mark? Do you think Cancelo and Rodri will play and double mark Bruno again like the last time?
My main concern is more than Bruno is Luke Shaw right now. That guy has been putting crosses left, right, and center like anything. For me, the top three players for the second half, Luke Shaw comes third for sure. That guy is now knows at left back what he has to do. I mean, we have he has Alex Tellers has been getting less chances because of his resurgence. So for me, more than Bruno, Luke Shaw is the main concern right now because that guy has been putting crosses. Sure, Rashford is not able to convert these. Sure, Marshall will convert it. But Luke Shaw has been doing his job pretty well. So for me, Luke Shaw is the main concern more than Bruno because I mean, let's be honest, Bruno's top six record is testament to the man. That's why. So even I have a couple of questions also about first, if United loses this game, is Ole out?
No,
Is
it
Ole
doesn't.
gonna
Like I
lose
said, Samir.
the
So
job?
I'll answer that question. I'll answer that question. Like I said, Samir already. I think being second is already overachieving for the resources we had for Oli. And I think he's proven this season that he's not going to be sacked in this season at least.
Prashant,
He's going to get till the end of the season. If we hold on to the second spot and if we can nick a trophy, we are yet in the running for two, well, technically three,
Two-
two at least. If we can nick a trophy and keep the second place, I think it'll be a fantastic season for
Prashant.
Oli, and he would have done what he's set out to do.
Let me
So,
let me let
so
And
I
me
don't
let me
think
come
that's
in here,
gonna.
Samir. I'll tell you the realistic answer. You'll see Twitter implode saying Ole out, but you will see genuine United fans understand that this is a good City side and we've achieved well and there is progress under him, and you won't see any negativity.
but more than that, the way the results. So my thing is that the results have been like you have been three draws, and then the way it has been criticized about the football that United has
But
been
that's
playing.
that's that's that's
But to
football,
me,
right?
you,
Samir,
yeah,
I mean, at the end of the day, if we look at it, and I don't want to get into the depths of this, but I'll just tell you quickly. The Sheffield game, the West Brom game, the Chelsea game, and the Everton game. Four games that, I mean, external referees have agreed that the ref cost the game to United. So
I agree to that.
if those four
but also
games are
Samir,
taken into
Vishesh, I just want
picture,
to come in here. I don't want to even talk about the ref. I'm just saying if you take a wider look, the 7 games is sort of a microscopic look at the season. If you take a wider look, we're yet likely to be second, even if we lose this game to City at the end of this week. So the problem probably is that how far away we are from City. That is probably the issue. But our league position from what we were last season to what we are this season, if you can't see the improvement, you don't understand football. We don't have the
Fair.
same issues we had before. And like Vishesh is obviously saying, the referees have been an issue, but I don't want to talk about that because we had, even in those games, we had chances to finish the game, or our defenders made errors that cost us goals. Now that Oli can't do anything about, Pep can't do anything about, Klopp anyway can't do anything. So there's nothing out there that I blame Oli for.
You know, Vishesh has pointed about Bruno. I have the same fear for Ruben because Ruben has been starting every game in the last couple of months. I see him getting tired. I see him making some of those mistakes that you don't expect after watching Ruben from so many games. That is a concern for me about. But on the second hand, Laporte has not been that good that he was earlier. So we don't have an option. And plus, Nathan Ake is not built for top six right now. And he's coming from injury. And also, for the first
Samir,
time, this squad has.
now that you mentioned Nathan Ake, I had completely even forgotten that you all signed this guy for 40 odd million from a club that was all relegated. So see, that is what that is what baffles me. But Samir, just to hold on to your thought, I want to throw this to Tanmay. What do you think the predicted 11 is going to be? Samir has already thrown out some names that might be there. What do you think the predicted 11 is going to be?
I don't think we need to mess up our backline at all. Our backline is playing really well. Henderson is obviously going to start. Cancelo is going to start. I don't want Walker to start in this game. Cancelo brings a lot in the team. I think Stones and DS is going to be the partnership. Laporte has been playing really well, but in big games, they are the best partnership we have. And I think Zinchenko will play because he's offering a lot. He's not that a good player, but he's really offering a lot. CDM, I want Fernandinho to start because in this game, you need that rash player. In the derby games, you need a player who does that. But Rodri is doing really well, so I don't see any reason why he'll be dropped. Rodri will start. I have I'm not sure about Kevin De Bruyne if he'll start, but Pep will definitely start him because he's been rusty in recent games, but this is a big game, so you cannot bench Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan will start in midfield. My front three will be my front three. I want is Foden, Mahrez, and Bernardo because Bernardo in this game, Bernardo is a player who runs a lot. In this game, he'll bring a lot. Foden is a big game player for us, and Mahrez is playing really well. But I think Pep will go with Sterling, but I don't want Sterling in this game at all because his record against United is really, really bad against United. I don't know what happens to him. He really misses simple chances, so I don't want him to start in this game. So this will be my ideal lineup, but I think Pep will go with Jesus and Sterling in the lineup. But I want Foden, Mahrez, and Bernardo to be our front three as a false
Right.
nine.
So Tanmay, just two questions. First of all, if Kevin De Bruyne doesn't start, I think every United fan will be happy because I think his record against top six clubs this season has also been quite equivalent to Bruno's, I think. But beyond that, Tanmay, if you play Foden, Bernardo, and Mahrez, who plays as your false nine? Will it be Foden or Bernardo?
I think it will be Bernardo, but that's the best part of false nine. It confuses the defenders, like who's going to be there because we have done this a lot. You can literally go to the Bernabeu game when we played against the Real Madrid. We played Gabriel Jesus as a striker, but that guy was playing as a left wing, and Bernardo and Kevin De Bruyne were two false nines, and it confused them as defender. They were confused literally. Ramos had no idea who to mark in the game. So that's the beauty of playing false nine when there are so many number 10s in your team. Mahrez is a kind of a number 10, Bernardo is kind of a number 10, and you can say Foden is kind of number 10. So I believe it's going to be Bernardo because his pressing is really well. But that's the best part is that they'll interchange and they will confuse the defenders. So that's the best part of playing false nine.
To be honest,
Sorry.
To be honest, I really wish this game that Ferran Torres should start. I mean, I really want to see him in a match like this because I mean, like okay, sure, Mahrez has been playing really good, but I mean, you have Ferran Torres who could give a good game as equivalent to him. He could run well. He could also come as a false nine again. He could be your other option as false nine. So this could game have somewhere like Ferran Torres could start against Mahrez.
But it's highly unlikely. It is highly unlikely.
No, so I personally am a huge Mahrez fan. I think he's one of the most underrated right wingers in the world going around right now. All this talk about Ziyech and this is nonsense. I think Mahrez is a truly world-class player. I don't see Ferran Torres personally starting. And again, from a United perspective, I'd be happier if Torres starts over Mahrez because I know what I'm getting with Torres. With Mahrez, I think there's a lot more guile, there's a lot more creativity to what he can do. And I think that's a little more scary for me. But anyway, Vishesh, I want to come to you to ask you this. Which out of these 200 players they have that are absolutely world class are you most scared about?
It's too hard to pick one, Prasham. I mean, they summed it up. Sterling doesn't perform against us. Aaron Wan-Bissaka has his pocket. I would probably go for Kevin De Bruyne. It's a common name. If he steps up, it's game over. It's very similar to them. I'm pretty sure. I mean, Samir did mention Luke Shaw, and that's a different discussion. But if Bruno shows up, then it's a pain for them as well, right? So you got to pick the main guy.
Yeah.
One-on-one
so
battle.
I'm gonna.
It's a one-on-one battle.
Last time, last time we built this up, Tanmay, if you remember, between Bruno and uh,
Kevin.
Kevin De Bruyne, and it turned out to be a game with Rodri versus Fred and McTominay, and it was a highly boring game. So that brings me to sort of the final segment of this preview, guys. Samir, what are your predictions for this game? Do you think City will win it, or do you think it'll be a draw again and we'll share the spoils?
I mean, at the rate that this club has been playing, draw. I still have to. I'll tilt towards win, like a 1-0 or a, like it won't be like a high scoring game. Obviously, it could be 1-0 or a 2-1 or a 2-0 kind of a nicking game, but probably could be a 1-0, like a 2-1 or 1-0 kind of like a one goal
Right,
difference probably.
right. Vishesh, what do you think? Do you think we'll again play out another draw, or do you think we might actually win this? Because let's face it, considering all of that we've discussed today, this game is not a walkover for City. Tomorrow, when we take that field, we could easily go out there and score 2 goals and win this game. That wouldn't come as a complete shock. While it would be a sort of a surprise, but it won't be an upset or a shock. The first 11 that United put out is quality. We can win this game. So, what do you think the scoreline is going to be?
Prasham, no one's spoken about this yet, and I'm just going to give this a minute. Um, the record is going to be broken tomorrow. I don't know if you guys realize this. It's either going to be United's away record that gets broken or City's unbeaten run that gets broken.
No, Vishesh, no, it's a nil-all draw, then both records stand.
Even if it's a nil-all draw, City haven't drawn in
Our streak, our
Yeah, yeah.
21 game streak,
Yeah, yeah.
winning streak.
It
Yeah,
would
yeah.
be it would be broken. It would be broken. It would be.
To be
Yes.
honest, there is
Yeah.
one more streak. There is one more streak. Yeah, I guess Johnston hasn't lost a game for a year now. There is also one more
So
streak.
that's
If
what
we
I'm
lose-
saying. The game
if
has
we
a lot of
starts-
records to be
Yeah.
broken, and for that reason,
Yeah.
I'm actually going for a high-scoring game. I'm going
So,
against.
Vishesh, are you saying mountains are there to be climbed?
I'm saying mountains are there to be climbed, and I'm going to be honest. I expected the boys to do better against Crystal Palace, but I'm going to blame that on the fog because I'm a deluded Manchester United fan, and I'm going to go for an old 3-2 victory with Bruno scoring a similar Van Persie kind of free kick in the 93rd minute.
3-2. If we score 3 goals, if we even score 2 goals, I'll be more than happy because it'll be one big game that's worth watching. But yeah, I mean, just to digress, you bring up the fog. Yet I'm wondering why they didn't play with a yellow ball on that day, because they do when there's snow, but apparently it doesn't count when there's mist. But anyway, Tanmay, what are your predictions for this game?
I think it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be an amazing. I hope it doesn't end in nil. I don't think it's going to be a walkover. If we are winning, it will be a very good game. United haven't scored in the last 3 games, right? They have 3-0. So you guys are not scoring goal, but we haven't kept clean sheet also. We considered against Wolves and West Ham. So I think it's going to be a narrow win for us. I'll go with a 2-1. I'll give a normal 2-1 win for us. And hopefully Foden or De Bruyne scores because there is my FPL team.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So I'm going to predict the most bold prediction out of all. I think it's going to be a 0-0 again. I don't think nothing's going to happen. We'll have a few chances. Henderson will make a couple of good saves. Ederson will make a couple of good saves. The only way I see a goal in this game is if Ederson tries to come off his line and tries to kill someone, and then somebody gets a goal from half line. So that's the only way I see.
Or maybe present the ball to Scott McTominay.
But this is a really good chance for Dean Henderson to step up. This is a really good stage for him to step up. Like this game is kind of like that way that Dean Henderson could announce that he could be the one who will be
Absolutely.
in the sticks for United.
By the way, I have a question. Sorry if we have a time constraint, but I have a question for you both of you, Prasham and Vishesh. Like as a United fan, how much time do you give to Ole? Because next year, let's see,
I was gonna-
Sancho.
I was gonna
No,
about the same question, but
Yeah, no. If
I'll
next
have
year
this-
you get Sancho, Grealish, you get world class players, and if you don't win Premier League, even with those players, like how much do you think time you will give to Ole? Let's say you don't win Premier League next year. Let's just assume that.
Prasham,
So
I'll
how-
quickly answer this. Ole just needs to prove himself again next season. I think he's given the side enough progress and improvement this season, and he definitely deserves another season. That being said, his contract does expire next season, and there are multiple kind of fans. Personally, I don't believe that he'll stay on. I think he'll hand over the baton to someone else who's more experienced. something similar to what we're seeing with Lampard and Thomas Tuchel, but the difference is Lampard was sacked. Ole won't be sacked, but a better manager will come in with a better squad and do wonders with it. Something similar you can expect in the 2023 season. I think that's how things will pan out.
Yeah, I personally think the same. I think to just sum what Visheshap is saying is that I personally think if Oli can't win a trophy this season, then it shows that he, with his what he's done with this squad is great. He's brought balance. He's brought a sort of happy environment around United once again. And I think then this is the chance where you kick on from here, bring in someone who's tactically more adept, and have them win trophies. But I think Oli a great job with what resources he has. Having said that, this is the Manchester derby. Anything can happen. The bragging rights of the city are on the line. Since the last few times, no one has had the bragging rights. I wouldn't mind if no one did them again. This time, I'd take the draw happily. So thanks, Tanmay. Thanks, Samir, for coming along. If you're City fans, go and follow MCFC. They're doing some great work. I've heard. I've obviously never gone on their page to check what's actually happening there, but do check that out. And if you're a United fan and you're new here, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, guys, and do check out our video for the combined 11 that drops tomorrow. See you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.